Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 2. There is so much at stake for both fighters, even more so than just their brain cells, because this fight is going to be a war just like their first fight, and I can't wait to tell you exactly why. So for Dustin Poirier, he's 34 years old, and this arguably has to be his last title shot. The lightweight division is the deepest division in the UFC, the most talented division in the UFC, and with a loss to Justin Gaethje, there's no way that Dustin Poirier is going to get another title shot. And then with Justin Gaethje, it's the exact same thing. This is his last chance. He's also 34 years old. There's so many lightweight contenders that are chomping at the bit trying to fight Islam Makhachev next. Let's just get right into it. So with Dustin Poirier, he's 29-7 with 14 KOs and 8 submissions. He's 34 years old, like I mentioned. In my opinion, I think he is the best boxer in the UFC. Sorry, Max Holloway, but I think Dustin Poirier is the best boxer in the UFC. With Dustin Poirier's boxing, he has everything. He's just such a clean boxer. Watching videos of him hit the bag, it's like art. It's like watching Picasso paint a painting. He has such a nasty lead hook, and he has such a nasty straight left hand. He loves throwing hooks, and in my opinion, I feel like he has one of the best kill shots in the game. I feel like he is the best at smelling blood in the water. Look at the Eddie Alvarez fight. This guy, on top of smelling blood in the water, he can throw 30 punch, knee, kick combinations to end the fight. And Dustin Poirier did the exact same thing to Justin Gaethje in their first fight. What's another one? Conor McGregor, guys. Conor McGregor, the rematch fight. Once Conor McGregor took an awkward step, he did a little jog and he pushed Conor McGregor against the fence and just rained down hell on Conor McGregor. Those nasty hooks caught him, knocked him out. First time McGregor's been knocked out in his MMA career, not even just the UFC. And with his striking, he can switch stances. These guys have similar tendencies in their striking. I'm no striking expert, but this is just something I've noticed. So what he does is when he throws a left hand, he often switches stances after he throws that left hand and follows it up with a right hook. He did exactly that to Max Holloway repeatedly. Now, on top of all that, he has a decent kicking game. He doesn't really throw too many kicks. He throws some calf kicks. He throws some body kicks. I don't think I've ever seen him throw a head kick in my life, to be honest, but he does mix it up pretty well. Knees somewhat in the clinch, but other than that, he's primarily a boxer, and I think he's the best boxer in the UFC. And another thing with Dustin Poirier, he has this kind of shell style defense that even Max Holloway said was weird. He's really good at defense, even though he gets hit 1,000 times a fight. Something to also take note with Dustin Poirier. Another thing that people, I feel like, don't notice or don't appreciate Dustin Poirier for enough is his cardio. So he beat Max Holloway in a 5-round decision. Max Holloway, the cardio king. So the fact that he edged him in a decision is pretty impressive. Like, you have to have crazy cardio and power to do that to Max Holloway. And that was peak prime Max Holloway. That was the Max Holloway that hasn't lost in, I don't even know how many fights. It was like 16 maybe, something crazy. And another thing with Dustin Poirier, this guy's been in the UFC for I don't even know how long. He's been in the UFC since his early 20s, and he's fought the who's who. He's fought Charles Oliveira. He's fought Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's fought Conor McGregor. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. He's fought Michael Chandler. He's going to fight Justin Gaethje the second time. Everyone. He's fought everyone. He's been under the brightest lights, so that's not going to be an issue whatsoever. And then another thing with the McGregor fight, he showed that he has some nasty ground and pound as well. So if he's capable of taking Justin Gaethje to the ground, which I don't know if he is, but if he does, he has some absolutely beautiful ground and pound. Makes your life a living hell when he's on top of you. Something Jolie Poirier probably doesn't say, because she probably loves when he's on top of him.
That's the last time you're gonna doubt my husband, I swear to God.
With saying all of this, it really doesn't mean too much, because he's fighting Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, he's 24-4. He has 19 KOs. He has 1 submission. I didn't even know he had a submission win on his record, so that's kind of interesting. And in my opinion, he is the most entertaining fighter in UFC history. Michael Chandler's knocking at that door right now. Dustin Poirier is also like, what the fuck? Why aren't you talking about me? And the reason is because so many things. So first and foremost, this guy, he is most known for, and probably his biggest X factor, no, the biggest X factor for Justin Gaethje in every fight is his kicks. His kicking game, his calf kicks are just ridiculous. This guy throws everything into those kicks. It really screws up his opponent. It kills their movement. Did it to Poirier. He even smacked Habib around with that a little bit. Habib just didn't really care about that whatsoever. I mean, he did it to Chandler. He did it to so many fighters. I'm not going to list all of them because every fight he's done that to them. That's what he's known for. So with that, his striking, it's clean. He showed that perfectly in that Tony Ferguson fight. That was when Tony Ferguson was El Kukui peak prime El Kukui, and he took El Kukui's soul in that fight for 5 rounds. He has fantastic footwork. He trains with Kamaru Usman. He trains with Rose Namajunas. He trains with a great team with Trevor Whitman while they're doing shrooms in Colorado. I've got to visit them. That'd be such a sick video to do. I'll do that one day. And he comes from a wrestling background. That's how he got started in mixed martial arts. So he doesn't really use it offensively, but in his last fight against Rafael Fiziev, he did mix in a couple of takedown attempts, and he actually got Fiziev down, which was the first takedown in his UFC career. Going back to that Tony Ferguson fight, when we're talking about his striking, he's got a great little it's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a right hand, but he kind of throws it like a hammer fist in a sense. It's weird. It's not a hammer fist, but it's a beautiful right hand. He's got a sick lead hook, just like Dustin Poirier. They're just opposite stances, southpaw versus orthodox. And again, with these two guys, they like fighting in the pocket. They don't fight at kickboxing range unless it's Justin Gaethje throwing a calf kick from fucking out of nowhere. And another thing about Justin Gaethje, both fighters, when they have you against the cage, you're screwed. When Justin Gaethje has you against the cage and he puts his hand on top of you and he throws those uppercuts like Michael Johnson, his head snaps back. So that's hell. That's hell. Then with Dustin Poirier, when he sees you against the fence and he just starts throwing all these hooks, literally like this, all these hooks, it's game over. So these guys are exactly the same, just in their own way. That's why this fight is so exciting. That's why I'm so excited for this fight, because it's just going to be so much fun. Even if it's not as exciting as the first fight, it's going to be exciting. We obviously got to quickly go over their first fight. So with their first fight, the biggest thing was this was pre-calculated Gaethje. This was when Gaethje was the most entertaining fighter. So you got to take this fight with a grain of salt, because he's not going to fight the same way. He didn't even know what defense was. The biggest thing in that fight and in this fight is going to be the leg kicks. He was tearing the shit out of Dustin Poirier's legs for that whole fight. Dustin Poirier was mangled, but you know, both fighters landed some huge shots on each other. Dustin Poirier was landing some great boxing combinations on Justin Gaethje. Ultimately, I think that, I don't know why, I just think that Dustin Poirier, I think he's so game. I think Dustin Poirier is going to catch him. I'm going to say that Dustin Poirier is going to finish Justin Gaethje because he's going to wobble him. Justin Gaethje gets wobbled pretty much in every fight. Got wobbled against Chandler. Got wobbled against Fiziev. He gets wobbled a lot. Dustin Poirier, he doesn't really get wobbled. He's so durable. He's been in wars. The question is, how long can he keep that up for? How long can both fighters keep that up for? I think the biggest thing with this fight, if Dustin Poirier is able to walk through those kicks like he did in their first fight, which he is going to be able to because he's so tough. He's one of the toughest fighters in UFC history. I think he's going to be able to weather the storm of those leg kicks regardless. And I think that when Justin Gaethje does the little Bambi leg dance, he's going to swarm him against the cage with the hooks, just like the McGregor. I think it's going to be a finish against the cage again, because that's just where these fighters, both Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, thrive off of that. But I think Dustin Poirier is going to edge him in that way. I'm going to say the third round. I'll say the third round. I don't want to say the fourth round, but it could be the fourth round, but I'll say the third round just to mix it up from the last fight. So that's it. Peace.